Unified Championship Radio.
Yes.
And more yeses.
Definitely more yeses for Daniel Bryan. Can you believe this, man? It's left me speechless.
I was working at school where I work, and I started posting because I saw a Tide commercial. I guess it was around for Super Bowl. And then I posted that, and then I got the text from you that said, hey, man, Daniel Bryan's retiring. I was like, what?
Yeah, that. You know what's funny? Because last week I had planned on us talking about possibly Daniel Bryan returning to Raw in Seattle, and there was a lot of rumors going around that he was making his return to Monday Night Raw, and all I could think of was, wow, he's probably going to make his comeback. He's going to come back to the ring.
Yep.
What's his role going to be at WrestleMania? What are we going to see from him? And then I think it was, what was it?
It was in the morning.
Monday morning at 1:07 p.m. He posted this on Twitter. Due to medical reasons effective immediately, I am announcing my retirement tonight on Raw. I'll have a chance to elaborate. #gratitude. That was at WWE Daniel Bryan. That's his official Twitter account. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, man, it really is over.
And it blew up. Like, he was trending for a good while that day.
Yeah, and it's funny, the first couple of hours, it's like, is this a work? What's going to happen on Raw? What are they trying to pull? Are they going to try to do the Mark Henry thing?
Yeah.
Because if you can remember, when Mark Henry said he was going to retire, he posted it on Twitter, and it was a work.
And everybody was talking about that. That's all I saw on Twitter and on the internet. It was like, oh, this is a work of Mark Henry. But apparently was not a work one bit at all. Well, did you watch all of Raw?
No, I got bits and pieces.
Because what was nice was when they cut to commercials and when they were coming back, they showed like highlights of Daniel Bryan, like him in NXT, him when he won the World Heavyweight Championship.
So kind of like a tribute.
Yeah, pretty much. And I thought it was good. I'm sure people were getting a little emotional. And then you see him hit the ring at the end, which was weird seeing a contract signing the first segment on Raw, because you wait to the very end to see that. And then you had Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns.
Lesnar.
But quickly on that, because we'll get into that more.
Yeah,
But he got the biggest pop out of all three of them, which shocked me.
Lesnar.
So it's almost like, how are you going to push your babyface Roman Reigns when Lesnar comes out and just gets a huge pop?
Yeah, that's it.
But we'll get into that later. But when he came out, you heard his song, Daniel Bryan's infamous walkout song. The crowd just erupted. I thought the whole arena was going to just blow off the roof. It was just...
Yeah, and as you got closer and closer to the time where he was coming out, you knew that this was not going to be a work and that this was really Daniel Bryan retiring. At first, I thought, maybe he's retiring to get out of his contract.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they won't clear him. They won't let him wrestle. But then he explained that he started getting seizures from this.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a surprising development. He never mentioned that before.
And he said his first... 3 months wrestling, he had about 3 or 4 concussions because he started wrestling, I believe it was 18 years old, 17 or 18. So that's a lot for your first couple months wrestling. You had this amount of concussions, and concussions are big between, we talk about sports, entertainment, wrestling.
Well, we just got into that new movie with Will Smith about the concussions.
Yeah, with the NFL. So it's a big thing in sports. And I know we're in the works of trying to get somebody on to talk about concussions because it's a big thing. I mean, It's not going away anytime soon.
Look what happened to Chris Benoit.
You just took the words right out of my mouth, my friend. That's exactly what I was going to say next. Chris Benoit.
And a lot of football players that have had, their problems.
They suffer like from depression, and then they just kind of go all off the handle. And it's sad.
And it's pretty eerie. Last week we were talking about Bret Hart and his life and his career, and all I could think of when we're talking about the concussions is how he got kicked in the head, and that ended his career, which was clearly not even over yet. He still had a lot to give.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And to compare his to Daniel Bryan's, and both of them dealing with concussions, I mean, why not just get out now? I mean, even meeting Bret Hart now, I mean, I know he's a little older, but you can tell it's a little bit slower than he used to be.
Yeah.
The reaction time, the talking time is not the same as the Bret Hart we all grew up knowing. So Daniel Bryan getting out now, it just makes sense.
Yeah, because why risk it? He even said he wants to eventually start a family, have a few kids. You had Bree come down to the ring and do the whole yes chant and embrace him, give him a hug and a kiss. And his speech was very heartfelt, how he talked about his father who passed away, and how the last time he saw him in the ring was the whole yes movement when they were in Seattle, and how his whole family was at ringside that night when he was giving his speech to retire. Like, it was very heartfelt, and you knew he didn't want to go. He didn't want to leave. But in his heart he has to, just so for his own well-being, for his family's well-being. I mean, he probably could have proved more, but he did win the World Heavyweight Championship. Was his reign kind of cut short? Yes. But not many people can say, hey, I wrestled for the WWE, and I held those two titles both at the same time.
He won the World Heavyweight title in probably one of the best surprising WrestleManias in a long time.
I would have to agree on that 100%. And then he wrestled twice that night.
I sat at WrestleMania 29, and I can tell you this, it was definitely not great. It was very disappointing.
Yeah.
To then come back for WrestleMania 30 in the Superdome.
And he wrestled twice that night,
He
right?
wrestled twice that night. But I feel like, even when I was watching it, I kind of felt like they took the moment away from him a little bit with Brock Lesnar beating The Undertaker. The eruption that I expected to come out, I mean, it was pretty big because, it was all for Daniel Bryan, but I feel like the air got taken away when The Undertaker lost. Fans were confused. They didn't know what to do. They were concentrating on that so much that by the time the main event came, it was kind of like, the video camera and the noise, it could be deceiving when you're watching on TV. But I just felt like that he kind of got that moment taken away from him a little bit.
Well, he didn't get the moment taken away from him on Monday night because it went
not.
way over. Because you know how Raw usually ends at like the 15-minute mark? It went to about 20, close to 25, I'd say.
Was this on USA? Or
This was on USA.
This is not even including the WWE Network?
No. And when I looked at my FiOS box, it said 11:15, and it kept going. And I was like, wow, how long is this going to go on for? And then the 11:20 mark hit. I think it was around, I want to say, 11:22, 23 when they said, all right, stay tuned, go to the network. And, of course, I went to the network right away. And they had him walking around the ring. He was actually hugging a lot of fans that were ringside. He was high-fiving.
Reminding me of Edge's retirement.
And then all of the locker room came out on the rampway, and they're all doing the iconic yes chant. Even Vince McMahon was doing it, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon. So everybody was breaking character. But you're on the network now, so I guess it's okay to do that. So it was just very heartfelt. I feel if you had to go out, that was a good way to go out as a wrestler.
It's just hard for me to believe.
Yeah, but do you want him to be one of those old-time wrestlers?
I'm not saying I want him to come back, wrestle, and get himself hurt. I want him to, take care of himself, take care of his body. I know a lot of fans are like, oh, he's got to come back. WWE screwed him. All this and that. But I want him to take care of himself. I'm just saying it's hard for me to believe because I let my guard down once, and that was for Ric Flair's retirement. When they did the whole thing, his career coming to an end with the Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels saying, "I'm sorry, I love you," and then super kicking him, and he's crying.
Yeah.
And then they go through Monday Night Raw, and he's crying. Vince comes out, Undertaker. They all come out to greet him and to, praise him for his career.
Yeah.
And, like, you tear up. They had, like, everyone come out. You're all tearing up. And then 3 months later, he's on TNA. And he's actually wrestling. So it's just hard for me to just go along with all of this. I know this is probably it for Daniel Bryan.
Because, like he said before, he said he wants to start a family. I'm sure Brie doesn't want to have a husband who can't even take care of his children. So I think he has a lot of projects in the works that we don't even know about. I remember watching something in the news about him doing some organic show on YouTube, so I'm sure that could be in the works. You never know. They could bring him back and be like, hey, you want to be the Raw general manager or something like that.
Oh, let's not go through this general manager garbage.
But again. It could happen.
I'd rather see him do announcing and get rid of Byron Saxton.
I could see that as well.
But definitely probably him being on like HGTV or the Food Network and getting people to know more about being like a vegetarian like he is. I mean, it's kind of a closed like community. You don't hear too much about it. Nobody like talks too much about it. But to have Daniel Bryan kind of be like the guy that does that stuff. I mean, look at Shawn Michaels. No one was really mainstreaming about hunting.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels does the show, and look what you have.
I mean, yeah, anything's possible. I could see, like you said, I could see him maybe like a Food Network judge or something, holding like a vegan cooking show or something like that.
Or maybe he even hosts some shows on the WWE Network. I mean,
I could see that.
Look at Corey Graves. Corey Graves got hurt and his career ended shortly, and he hosts a whole bunch of shows on the WWE Network about Superstar Inc. He hosts about the tattoos, about the wrestlers with tattoos. He hosts this show called Culture Shock, and during my lunch, it's like a 15-minute segment, but I watch it, and like he goes to Comic-Con or he goes to Star Wars. The Star Wars weekend, or all these like cool events he goes to and he does, and it's a pretty cool show. So cool that I tweeted him about it and he liked it.
I saw that.
So thank you, Corey Graves. I appreciate that.
But Daniel Bryan's so big, he could probably do anything right now.
Yeah.
So sky's the limit for him. I mean, yeah, it's sad that his career was cut short, but that's only his wrestling career. Who knows what's in store for Daniel Bryan? Like you said, could be announcing, could be Food Network, could be doing little segments on WWE Network. He could maybe he'll be in a WWE movie down the road. You know how they like to put the stars in their movies?
I mean, it's sad because of what could have been and what WWE is becoming right now. Because you have Kevin Owens. We never got to see that here. Unless you go back and buy Ring of Honor. Like the next time we go to Ring of Honor, I'm going to have to buy like a Daniel Bryan DVD like I saw there. Because he's had fights with Kevin Owens, AJ Styles. I mean, like these are all fights that we want to see in the WWE and we'll never get to see them.
Yeah. So that's what you're going to have to do. I think.
What if he becomes general manager of NXT? That sounds perfect for him. I know William Regal's general manager right now. But like eventually when William Regal decides to hang up or they put him somewhere else.
You're not a Regal fan?
I like William Regal. I'm just saying something for the near future to consider.
I know. I'm just messing with you. I'm a Regal fan as well. And he's actually the one guy that Daniel Bryan thanked. I mean, he thanked a few, but he was one of the guys he thanked because William Regal took him under his wing, and he started to help him train and was with him with NXT. So he thanked him. He thanked Kane. If you remember the Team Hell No, he said the most interesting man he ever met in the back was Kane, because the guy's like a walking encyclopedia. If you ever read about Kane, he knows like almost everything in history and politics. So when he's done hanging up the boots, he's going to be probably in politics, but that's for another day. But like I said, very sad to see. It's bittersweet because you don't want to see them like a Ric Flair continue